Come on and mention below, say who's here, tell me where you're from. So good to have you here. This is just I'm going to do this live, so I'm literally just trialing this. It wasn't my plan to do it this way, but this is exactly what I've been told to do. So you're going to have to play along with me. I'm actually might lift this up a bit more too. Hi, girls. So just come on, tell me where you guys are from and show me who's here. Comment below so I can just make sure that all the comments are working, because the comments are really important. So I need to read your comments. I'm just trying to get... Hi Isaiah, yep, great. Lamisha, great. Really wanted to make sure I can see the comments, because the comments are really important here to make sure that I can see what you guys are doing with this clearing and where you're at. So hi, I can see that, which is awesome. Vidya's there, Beck's there. Great, I can see all that. Oh, and Elena, hi. Gorgeous girls. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got 4. If there is any problems, please just comment below, because I really want to make sure that this works. So it looks like we're all good. Fantastic. So get your pens and paper and let's get straight into it. Robin's here. I do want to make sure that everyone is here. So we've got a few looking gorgeous. I'm glad I'm looking gorgeous because it's still pretty early here. Yes, and I am crazy getting up this early, but I love waking up to you guys. So it's really cool. Now, I literally have have not planned this. This is not planned. And I don't really know what's going to definitely happen, but I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm also just going to type, some of the girls are having a problem, and I'm just going to tell them to jump into the group. So yesterday I was just showing that, oh, I look great. Oh my God, thank you. Jump into the group. So I literally just got the thought yesterday to do this, and doing a clearing through a live. I've been showing how it looks. Let's just hope it goes that way. So again, I'd love if you can just show me or tell me if something's not kind of working. I did try and do this on my computer and it didn't work. So I'm actually on my phone there, but I can see stuff on my computer, which is awesome. So tell me when you're ready to go. Have you, say, yes, I'm ready to go, and I will get started. And I'm just trying to watch everything. And everyone's trying to say, how do I get to the call? It's live in the group. So just say we're ready. Okay, Zai's ready. Lamisha's ready. Tell me when you guys are ready and we'll get started into this, because we do need to focus exactly on what we're doing. Kristen's ready. Robin's ready. Woohoo! Delena's ready. Group, Vidya's ready. Glad I can see all your comments. Robin's ready. Good. I'm just going to... Anna's ready. Are you still driving, Anna? You're probably just saying you're ready, but you said you were going to be driving at this time. So, let's just see. April's ready. Good to see you here, April. Okay. Right, so what I want you to do is I want you to write down question number 1, or step number 1 in the Universal Mindset Technique. Now, step number 1 is, what is it that you want to work on? What is it that you want to change? So, and I want you to write it down on your piece of paper and then type it below. So, hey, Shells. Okay, you're ready. So I want you to type below Here, yes, you're driving, Anna. I want you to type below what your issue is. So it's an issue, a problem, something that you're aware of. Tell me exactly what it is that you want to work on today. So abundance. I'm assuming that's lack of abundance, Robin. So just pop down step number 1. So write down step number 1 on your page and just write here what you're wanting to work on today. So Robin's got abundance. What else do you guys want to work on? Myrna, hi darling. What we need to do, get your pens and paper, and we're just going to write down what it is you want to change. So it could be an issue that you're having. I want to work on lack of financial abundance. Good on you, Lamisha. Fantastic. So write down what it is that you want to change. It could be a problem you're having, being able to provide abundance myself. Yeah, reliant on a man. Love that one. It's really good that you extend on that. Health, healing, desire. Robin, hi Robin. Fear of being seen. Love it. Feeling rushed and running out of time. Oh God, time is one of my favorite subjects. Anyway, write that down. So step number 1, what is it that you want to change? So it could be a problem, an issue, something that you're dealing with at the moment. Clarity on my message. Good O. And it could be just an issue that you're having, or you just a block or something that you can't get past. I love working on those because they are really telling us that there's something subconsciously going on. My frustration with not getting to all the lovely things I want to do. Oh, that's a good one, Delana. Aligning my outer world with my inner expansiveness. Wow, inner expansiveness is still really good, but yeah, aligning that outer world. Tamra, let's get into it. So write down the thing that you want to change. And definitely, April, if your outer world is showing you something, then this is where we need to find out what's going on in the inner world to attract that outer experience. So I'm just going to check our group and see what's going on and how everyone's going. Fantastic. Good, good, good. Okay. So you've written that down. Fear. Oh, Vidya, you've got another one. So if you do have more than one, you can work on more than one at a time. I like doing that sometimes, but you can just either just have one and then you can use this. So step 1 is what is the thing you want to change? Awesome. Okay, step number 2. So write down step number 2 is how do you feel about this thing? So it's the emotions. And fear to be alone in the middle of a room of people. Awesome. So step number 2, and you can type in here as well, what is the emotion that this thing brings up for you? And just feel into that. So think about the thing that you want to change, and then what is the emotion that it brings up for you? Step number 2. And then just write it down on your piece of paper or pop in the group. Live went off. What's the first one? So first one is what is the problem, Beck? So I feel restricted, insecure and unsafe. Awesome. Sadness, that's great connection, guys. Well done. Fear, insecurity and lack. Wonderful. Keep connecting to those feelings. Ashamed and tired. Ooh, I can feel it already, guys. So just connect to those feelings. Allow them to come up. So Beck, trust. Trust is the issue. So then go into what is step number 2 is what does that bring up for you? Frustration and disappointment for Delana. Can't have fun. So would that be frustration, Robin? That you can't have fun? Or you can't be abundant? Kristen is fear of being seen, fear of being out there, fear it won't be as good as I think it is, lack of time and abundance. So how does that make you feel? Step number 2 is how does it make you feel? Frustrated and out of control. I love that you've said that, Lamisha, because that is definitely what we need to find out where that comes from. Not giving myself enough self-care and love and resulting in frustration and tiredness. Awesome. So Robin, yep, so put down more. I want you to put down as much descriptive feeling as possible as to how it makes you feel. Lonely and sad, Vidya. Thank you for sharing, darling. So emotion is not knowing. The knowing gives me anxiety, which I can talk about anxiety as an emotion for a while, and makes me question a lot. Gushan, yep, Anxiety, frustration. Frustration is a really big one. And if you feel into it, a lot of the stuff that comes up for us is either frustration and not being in control. So I don't feel like I'm in control. All those kind of things. There tend to be, especially as really deep subconscious things, not being seen or not being liked or loved. So that could probably, Vidya, that could be actually be like, I don't feel that, so the feeling is I don't feel loved or I don't feel liked. Sad and anxious, thank you, Lamisha. Not feeling like I can make plans to go out or on a vacay. Free, frustrated and stuck. So they're the emotions. So really feel into the emotions. April, uncertainty, restricted, insecure, disappointment and disbelief. Love it. Feel into them and bring up all the emotion that this thing is bringing up in you. So you guys are awesome. You've really connected to those really well. So fantastic. So I want you just to take a nice deep breath as you connect to that emotion, because bringing that emotion up can be overwhelming sometimes. So just take a nice deep breath as you connect that and allow that to come up. The thing about emotion is that when we have emotion, we're taught to push it down, and a lot of the times it just stays within us. Frustration and disappointment, yep, allow it to come up, feel it. When we allow emotion to come up and feel it, that's when it starts to change. And so now step number 3, I want you to get your pens ready, and I want you to really allow the information to come through as to what step number 3 is going to show you in the Universal Mindset Technique. So step number 3 is saying to you, if I have this emotion about this thing, what is it saying about me? What does it say about me as a person? So I don't want you to think about it. I want you just at the first thing that comes to mind. What does it say about me if I have this emotion about that thing? What does it say about me? And just allow them, don't think it, allow the first thought that comes to you is the answer. So write it down and then pop it in the group. If I have this emotion about this thing, what does it say about me? That I don't believe in myself. Awesome. I said it's awesome, but really, yeah, that's what we want to find out. So Robin, I don't believe in myself. So step number 3 is actually your deepest and absolute deepest core beliefs, like in your subconscious, which is running the program, which is affecting this, that I'm irresponsible, insecure. I'm going to write all these down because this helps me to move forward onto the next steps. So don't believe in myself. For Robin, insecure. For the other Robin, I'm irresponsible. Yes. Don't value myself. Yes. Whoops, going fast. Trying to control too much. Okay. Too much. Fantastic. Unworthy. I'm not writing your names down. I'm just putting these down. That I'm aware I believe in myself and what is right, what I deserve. Beck, I need to talk to you about that. My life feed of you keeps stopping. Sorry. I worry about what others think of me. Worry what others struggle to accept love. Failure. Weak. Good ones, guys. Communication with husband. Okay. Lack of confidence. Okay. Well done. Yay, I'm so happy too, Robin, because I'm having really lots of fun. I love this stuff. Can't control, that's a good one. Unworthy of love. Well done, guys. And anything else that this brings up for you, so keep asking your question. If this failure as a business owner, oh my God, I love it. I mean, good. This is your deepest belief. Like step number 3 is one of the biggest parts of this. Not honoring myself. Okay, I'm going to let you guys keep doing that. I can't write them all down, but I've got the basis one. Now, Rebecca Gabby, I'm going to get to you. So, Beck, you actually had a positive comment to say of the reason why that issue is, which tells me that you revert back to the positive for everything instead of finding out what the negative is driving underneath. So I want you to go into what's going on underneath. My deepest belief is that I do deserve and think it's a positive. And I know that's what happens. You're reverting into the positive and that's your default, but it's not telling you what's actually causing the issue. Which is really good. So I'm going to get you to go underneath that belief. I can't create my life. I'm useless and I'm fantastic. Well done. Write all those things down, guys. And Rebecca Gabby, just I want you to go into, if you have this thing, what does it mean about you? So what is the thing that you want to work on? If you have it, what does it mean about you? Fear, lack, fear, lack. Okay. That's like a song. We can make a song out of that. I miss out. Fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. You've really felt into that. So I miss out. Okay. So step number 3, guys, I want you to really acknowledge step number 3, because step number 3 is your deepest. And if I'm on my own, I can't provide myself and I'll be homeless. Oh, yes. Yes. Good digging, guys. I'm really, really, really proud of you. So that step number 3 is your deepest, deepest belief about yourself and how you see yourself subconsciously on this planet. So this is really cool to connect to all of that. So again, just feel into, if I have this issue and I have this emotion around this issue, what does it mean about me? So yes, it'll bring up a lot of can't control, that I'm a failure. Oh, lonely. Yep. Good. You've got to feel into that. And Beck, I'm really proud of you for feeling into that, because I think you do, and like be aware that you do revert into the positive a lot, but it's not actually running the show. There's something going on in your subconscious which is really running the show. So it's great to feel into it. I'm just like my mum, Lamisha. Good one, darling. Yes. Feel into those. Bring all those beliefs out, guys. Step number 3, what does it mean about you? This is the belief that you have about yourself that you didn't know existed. I'm not useful. Wow, that is so cool. Can you believe that you're walking around with these beliefs that is running, like this energy of what you're bringing up right now is running the show, that you didn't even know. You didn't even know this existed. Bring it all out. So if I have this thing and I have this emotion around this thing, what does it mean about me? Or if you can't connect to that, just what does this thing mean about me? Hard to love. Oh, Becky, doing a good job, darling. Get in there. Bring everything up. Okay. So I'm getting a feeling that we're ready to move on to step number 4. Who's ready to move on to step number 4? Bringing up everything. Step number 3 is so good because it really does bring up all our core beliefs and all our things that have been holding. Undeserving. April, well done. Whew, love these. Thank you for my love heart, Lamisha. So yeah, everyone's ready. Good. Step number 4, because now step number 4 is a little bit more connecting. Great. Okay, so I want you to acknowledge that step number 3, that belief, or that thing that you've written down is the thing that is running the show. And Vidya, you've actually brought up it's boring. That's one of my biggest fears, for things to be boring. So if there is a belief that something is boring, then, and I'm not worth it, good. Bring it all up. Write it all down. Isn't it great? I love how our current situation can actually show us something about ourselves. So this is the programming that's going on in the back of our mind, which is running that and sending this energy out, creating our current experiences. So step number 4 is, I want you just to close your eyes, and I want you to bring up the earliest memory that you have of when you thought about that belief, or where that belief comes from. So if you have a belief that I'm a failure, what is the earliest memory of when you were a failure? If you have, and it has to be the first thing that comes up. And I want you to write it down on your piece of paper first, and then you can pop it in the group. So if I, like whatever that belief is that's come up, I want you to go into, so I'm irresponsible. Okay, what's the first memory that comes to mind as to when I was early, like when I was irresponsible? What's the first, like earliest memory that when I didn't believe in myself? When's the earliest memory when I didn't think I deserved it? And just write down what happened. What's the earliest memory? What's the earliest memory when I didn't have control? What's the earliest memory when I was unworthy? What's the earliest memory when I had no confidence? What's the earliest memory when I didn't honor myself? Then I just want you to write down what that is on your piece of paper and then share it in the group. What is the earliest memory? Don't think about it. Allow that memory to come up naturally. What is the earliest memory, step number 4, that you have? Now, funnily enough, I'm burping. My stomach's just like, so I think some of us are clearing as we're connecting to these earliest memories. It's hilarious. Like I could just feel, what are you guys doing over there? Burping and yawning is actually really good once we bring up this earliest memory, because it means we're connecting to it already. So 11 or 12 had big boobs, Jim. Yep, great. Some girl said, look, everyone, Robin's wearing a bra. Oh my God, yep. Okay, so just bring this earliest memory up and take a nice deep breath as you bring this up and the awareness up. It'll be interesting because you'll usually know how old you are. Chicken, not worthy, not trusting. Okay, earliest memory when you were chicken, when you weren't worthy. So you can actually go into each one of those, Tamara. I had a debt that wasn't mine, it was my mum's, and I had to pay. I'm not sure why that come up. That's okay, that'll be the thing. I actually think, Lamisha, that's another layer, and that you'll need to go into, okay, what is that, how did that make you feel? And then go, what is the earliest memory before that, about the feeling? Let me sure if you get stuck, just let me know, but you're going into another layer. So if you can then go into that. First memory is my sisters and my parents not connecting with me. Yes, so Vidya, can you remember how old you were when that happened? Robin's first grade when I was with Selby Potter, and she made a rude comment to Alex Vass's mum in the hallway, and we got into trouble and disappointed my mum there. That's a big one. So just take a nice deep breath as you bring this memory up. Moving again as a kid and not having control, really good one. I felt powerless. Yep, so Alicia, what's the earliest memory when you felt powerless? Write that down. Unworthy, earliest memory is present but absent parent. Undeserving, my handicapped brother took a lot of the attention. Yep, that'll be it. These are the things that you're bringing up are the things that cause these beliefs. So just take a nice deep breath as you connect to these. Fear of being punished. Oh my God, you guys are shifting it already. We're getting big. So you might get a bit of a head spin or a bit of a shift as you connect to this. Fear of being punished for not being on time around the age of 11. Oh, Anna, what a great connection. So if you've got a couple of different beliefs, you can do this for each belief. When I could fix our financial issues. Oh, well done, Lamisha. Can you tell me how old you were when you realised that? Vidya was 7. Good, well done. Sister was always the perfect one, and I was the one who was causing problems at school and socially. Well done. Maybe, Robin, connect to the time how old you were when you realised that, and just connect to that. So every belief that you've brought up in step number 3, 8, well done. Good one. So step number 3, look at all the beliefs that you brought up, and then for each one I want you to write down a corresponding memory, which is the first memory as to when I felt a failure, first memory when I started worrying, first memory when I felt unworthy. So you guys are awesome. So can't seem to find one. Moving when I was 16 and not wanting it, or being rejected by friends. Yeah, it could be, but there may be something, Isaiah, a little bit earlier than that. So maybe instead of finding it, you can receive it. So there's a difference between thinking and receiving. I want you to receive it. So Isaiah, I want you just to go into like closing your eyes and just take a nice deep breath and just ask yourself, what's the earliest memory I have when I was rejected? Keep going younger. Probably 9 when I realised that I was causing problems. Yep, good. So it's usually 10 and below when these beliefs are formed, which you think about it's crazy, right? But anyway, this is when they come. So keep going through all your beliefs and then bring up all the earliest memories as to which one. So are we ready to move on to step number 5? Has everyone brought up their earliest memory? Is anyone stuck? And take nice deep breaths as you connect to that earliest memory. We all good? And how are you feeling now you've brought that up? Do you feel okay? Great awareness. Just wondering if my feed stopped, or because I'm not seeing any comments. So how are we going? Sick to my stomach. Good. Okay, so they're still there. Okay. Well done. Well done to connecting to that. Good awareness about the beginnings of my feelings. Well done. It is actually really exciting to get into that. Stuck and not useful. So Vidya, what's your earliest memory? It might be your lunch. Funny, upset and unappreciated. Okay, earliest memory. So connect to that earliest memory. Maybe Rebecca, like your earliest memory of when you were upset and unappreciated. Going into that earliest memory. Mel, you know this process anyway. So we're on step number 4, which is our earliest memory. 3 years. Thank you, Isaiah. Well done. Good connecting. Dad telling me he doesn't love me anymore. Oh my God. And literally lifting me up by the arm, feeling very sad and no good, bringing up. This is poking. It's so funny. Robin, Isaiah, well done to connecting to that. So can't get to my earliest memory. So what you need to do if you can't get to your earliest memory is you literally just need to stop thinking. Does anyone know what I mean by stop thinking? So literally you just say the thing over and over in your head. What's my earliest memory of this? You don't think it, you just literally have a blank mind. I want you to be okay with having a blank mind. What's my earliest memory of this? And just let the memory come up. Okay, I think we're ready possibly to move on from our memories. And just the acknowledgement, yep, good. The acknowledgement of bringing up where this came from, where this belief came from is really, really cool. Now, let me just say that usually when we have this earliest memory come up, Shell's the 5 years old, childhood abuse. Oh, it's okay. Let those tears come up because it's probably been in there the whole time. Thank you for sharing, darling. That's really good. Okay. So just allow those memories to come up, and yeah, there's going to be emotions with it because it's been suppressed for such a long time that you probably didn't even know it existed in there. So, okay, so I want you to look, so step number 5 is we need to go into what the truth is. So step number 4, we've looked at this thing and we've received this memory of what happened in step number 4, and I'm so proud of you guys for going there because it will bring up memories of when you were younger that weren't great, and we needed to go there today to be able to free you from them because it's created some level of belief patterns and systems in your body from that that isn't helping you now. So we need to now go into this memory that you have, and we need to look at it from a different point of view. So, okay, Vidya, well done. Maybe try and doing this with us and going into the next one. So, okay, so step number 5 is looking at step number 4. I want you to look at step number 4. Look at the thing that happened, and I want you to realize that whatever happened to you, especially at that age, is how you've processed it. So you've processed the thing that happened with a child's mind. Like you could have been 5, 3, 8, whatever. So whatever happened in your 8-year-old brain, your 5-year-old brain, your 3-year-old brain, you've then decided, Vidya, go into the feeling. Go into the feeling, and you can tap it out if the feeling's really, really uncomfortable. So tap on that feeling, Vidya, and then come back to me, okay? Take nice deep breaths. You can't go to sleep with it. Okay, so what I want you to do, step number 5, is I want you to see step number 4 and know that that's with your child mind. You've literally made an assumption, a belief pattern in what happened to you as a child with your child mind. Now, step number 5 is let's look at it with our adult mind, or what I call our universal mind, which is why it's called universal mindset technique. So step number 5, I want you to look at the thing that happened, and I want you then, again, you don't need to think about it. As an adult and looking at that, I want you to tell me how, like, what that was meant to show you. So it might have been as a soul in your body. You might have had that thing to learn something about yourself. You may have had that thing happen to, again, just to have an experience, because sometimes when we've got a soul that's gone into a body and we've had human experiences, sometimes those human experiences, we just have an experience, like, you know, the poem The Little Soul and the Sun. The little soul just wanted to experience forgiveness. So then something has to play out on earth for him to experience forgiveness. So maybe this thing, you know, has happened for, you know, that reason, just to have an experience of what that feels like. It could be that you needed to feel that way when you were younger, so then when you're older you can choose to feel a different way and to know and really appreciate that. So that's what I call the duality piece. It's like, maybe I needed to feel stuck as a child, or maybe I needed to feel these things, so then I can really appreciate the opposite of that. Or maybe the thing that happened could have just been a direct mirror of what was going on inside of you that you wanted to learn within yourself. So there's always four things, four reasons why this thing happened when you were younger. The experience, the learning something about yourself, the duality, to know the opposite of what you really want, and the mirror showing you something about yourself. So feel into those four reasons, and then look into, as an adult, why you think this thing happened and how it was meant to help you. It's really cool to try and connect with this. If it is a bit tricky, this step number 5, which is kind of why people work one-on-one, but okay, I could recognize this feeling when I moved up to secondary school and everything was new. Okay, feel more into that vidya. So Lamisha, now I'm doing lots of burping again, someone's shifting something. I needed to feel lack so I could truly understand abundance. Yes, that's the duality piece, or to learn what was mine in terms of responsibilities and energy of what's not. Absolutely. So Lamisha, if you could just literally look at that experience as saying, I just needed to feel that so that I could really understand the opposite. So Robin, yep, you just had to experience that. So with that experience, what did you get from it? What did you get from that experience? I want you guys, step number 5, we will turn this around into what you got from that. And sometimes, especially if it's a memory that happens, and we might have seen it with our 5-year-old brain, but looking at it with our 40, 50-year-old brain, we're going, oh, actually, I perceive that to be true when I actually can see that it's not true. So step number 5 is, what is the truth? Maybe I need to feel powerless to be able to feel empowered now. Yeah, great. Now, when you guys have the duality piece, I'm just going to share another step that you can do around the duality piece. If you needed to feel something to then now feel something else, what you can do is you can do what I call a spiritual checklist experience. Good. When you find step number 5, take a nice deep breath, clear it out. You need to clear this energy out. You might get a little bit dizzy or whatever, but just clear it out, probably to make it tad strong, to make me not depend on someone. Yep, awesome, fantastic. So take a nice deep breath as you have these awarenesses. I had more power than I thought. Oh yes, to know my power, to be able to have that voice, or be aware to have that voice, and I'm strong. Love it. Oh my God, you guys are connecting this so well. Making choices about who I spend time with. Yep. Every time I got into trouble, it was with kids who were not good for me. And the thing is, Robin, you always knew they weren't good for you, but you continued that on. And so now you can say, I don't need to hang around kids that aren't good for me, or do things that aren't good for me. Duality. April, well done. I needed to go through that to feel empowered as an adult. Yes. I had to be able to see, love, and heal my real self. Yes. Well done. Oh my God, you guys are awesome. Okay. So especially if you've got the duality piece, or the experience piece, or whatever it is, the learning, whatever it is, it's taught me to want more and expect more in the future. Okay, I'll talk about that later, because I'm all about living in the now. So maybe you can say to know that in the current moment you are. So Lamisha, you can actually say in the current moment, I already have everything I want. You watch, the next moment will create that for you. So no more future talk. So Lamisha, I want you to say, in the current moment, I have everything I want, and knowing that the universe will bring you more of everything you want when you feel like you have everything you want. Okay, I needed to use my skills then, closing myself with the newness. Yes, perfect. Oh, Lamisha, thank you. You got that one. Now, with everything that it's brought up for you, I kind of want you to, and I've done this, which is really powerful. I want you to do on a separate page, and you can do this to know when I think I'm not good enough. Yep, cool. In the current moment, you have everything you want. You got it. Okay, so with anything that this has brought up, and you can see the purpose for it, I want you to write down a spiritual bucket list. It's maybe see the bigger picture. Oh my God, my heart's just like expanded when I read that. And be sensitive to my own and others' emotions. So beautiful. Take a nice deep breath. Shell, that is so lovely. Oh, you guys are just so amazing, so powerful. I also felt I needed to trust my abilities and experiment. Yep. Perfect. Loving these awarenesses. If you're stuck, can you comment and just tell me if you're stuck and I can help you? With others who have brought up the truth, your truth, the universal truth, I want you to write down a spiritual bucket list. Now, a spiritual bucket list is, I'm going to get one of mine. Hang on a second. I didn't know I was going to be doing this. Sorry, I'm like squashing the screen. This is my spiritual bucket list. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I want you to write down like spiritual bucket list, and then we're going to write down. So the thing I'm going to get you to write down, like, so you're going to write whatever it is and then put a box there. So if you were to experience, people have the shit and it's never really about you. Okay. It's always about you, but that's okay. Because if you know you're strong and secure, then that's great. But also, if you when you say, like Robin, and you say it's not about someone else, what happens is you're giving your power away to them because you can't do anything about that. So always know that people will always show you something. Again, someone will always come into your awareness as a mirror somehow, or showing you something about yourself. So this is where when you make it about you, you're back into power, and you can deal with that. So but then from the past, you can then just say, I mean, that awareness is really cool. But knowing that back then you did attract that from that feeling, but also maybe it was just from that experience. So, okay, spiritual bucket list. So right on the top, spiritual bucket list. And then I want you to write down, I needed to feel, I can't remember what some of those things were. I needed to feel unworthy. I needed to feel whatever the duality piece was. So I needed to feel this. Even you can write down the things that you experienced, like before now, anything that you experienced before now, that wasn't great. Put it on your spiritual bucket list. Be like a child and enjoy. Yep. Love it. Great awareness. So write down the thing is, so I needed to experience sadness. I needed to experience the lack. Write that down and then do the box, and then I want you to tick it off. Like as a soul in your body, you have done that and you're done with that learning or that experience or whatever it is. So I want you to do your spiritual bucket list. So I want you to write down everything that you've had, like anything that you've had in the past, the lack, the unworthiness, the whatever it is. Now that you know what the truth is, we need to shift the purpose of this thing that happens and what's going on within you. So the failure, the not honoring myself, like all those things that came up for you, I want you to write it in your spiritual bucket list. Put a little box next to it and then tick it off. So yes, I had the duality piece, and yes, I had that experience. But now, and I'm just going to go back into some of the ones that are there, and I'm just going to read some of those out. So are you guys doing up your spiritual bucket list? Do that up and literally tick that off. And that is the last part of the Universal Mindset Technique. So if you may need to work on some of the other beliefs that are there. So you can simply just go through and look at where they came from and then what is the truth. So I'm just going to go through some of these to know what I'm not good enough. Yep. So then you can say, okay, I've had the not feeling good enough, so I'm going to tick that off. From now on, I'm not going to have that. I needed to, all those sorts of things. Those comments aren't coming up, which is interesting. Okay, so yes, ticking, Isaiah, fantastic. So as you're ticking that off, take nice deep breaths and allow that to shift. You're done with that life. I need to experience experimenting helplessness. Yes. Tick that helplessness off. Lack of resilience, lack of abundance, the loneliness, tick it off. Like literally just start ticking it off. So write it all down. So not only what came up today, you can actually extend this through to anything else that comes up from the past that happened. And then once you go through the Universal Mindset Technique, you can literally say, right, I've got the truth around that. I know why that happened. You'll definitely get a swirly head after you do that, because that is how easy it is to shift this energy. So from now on, when something comes into your awareness in the current moment, so this is where, Lamisha, it's easy to stay in the current moment. Whatever the universe is showing you is definitely something going on within you in this subconscious, which is causing this current issue, whatever. So that's why I love it. I love going into this. This feels very powerful. The bucket list seems to get longer. Allow it to be out there, because you know what? Once you tick it off from your spiritual bucket list, like you think about it, from the time that you were like floating around in the sky, you said, okay, I want this life, the life that you've got now. I want this life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose that life, to experience this, to know this, to, as a soul in a body. And again, we chose Earth as this next incarnation because we wanted to experience something or to know something from this time. What we're going to do then is we're going to then you choose that body, come down to that body. What you are doing now is you're connecting to the deepest part of yourself and your choices as a soul in the body as to why you chose this life. Now what's happening, especially as we move into the fourth and the fifth dimensional level of consciousness, we are moving from stuck and limited into choice, and then we're going to go into limitless abundance. So this is where what you're doing right now is you're connecting to your spiritual process, your spiritual choices as a soul in a body, and you're ticking off. It's almost like you're changing your contract with yourself. So then you're creating a new contract with yourself to say from now on, and you can then do, this is what my new bucket list is, because there's no ticks on this. I've done, because I've done the old one. I've done the old spiritual bucket list where I've ticked off what I didn't want. Now I've got what I do want. And from that, I'm literally going to then achieve these things or do these things or have these things simply through just writing them down and knowing that they will all pan out. Keeping my focus in the current moment, just staying in this current moment. Anything that comes up will be showing me something that I need to know about myself, and it's so powerful. This work doesn't never stops, because think about how old you are. Like I'm nearly 45, so it's like think about how much stuff and how many beliefs and processes you've picked up on that way, knowing that you've chosen those as a soul here because there's something that you wanted to experience as a little soul in a body. So I'm free to use them because all these skills are mine and freely available, and I don't need anyone's permission to use them. What kinds of things do you include on your new list? Well, feel into them. I always say just feel into it. Get rid of the old first and maybe sit with yourself for your new bucket list. And that's where you can just feel into, like, now I'm ready to experience abundance. Put that there with the open-ended. But the thing I always work on is releasing the meanings that we have on things and allowing the universe just to show us. So we can even have meanings on what abundance looks like, meanings on what success looks like, anything like that. And what happens is that when we put meanings on it, we actually make it a limited experience. So don't put a meaning on it and just write it and then put this away. Like I've got this on my wall, but I never look at it. I just trust and know that by putting that out there, that I'm going to be shown. The universe will show me in each current moment how to get there and what to do in that. But I'm always consciously aware of everything, like I'm sharing in my new blog, consciously aware of everything that comes up, where an emotion, like the emotion is our alarm bell. So where that emotion is bringing up something that has held me back. And so working on that through the Universal Mindset Technique is a really cool process. It's really fun. And once you do this, those 5 steps of doing this, once you do it a lot, you'll then find that you can be doing it while you're driving. You can be going, okay, so I'll quickly go through the 5 steps if you guys want to write these 5 steps down. Have to listen later. Oh. Yeah, it's been a good call. I'd love to do this again, actually. If you want me to do this again, let me know. Write these 5 steps down and keep this like everywhere so that you can make sure that you revert back to these things. So the first thing you do is it's the emotion piece. So the emotion will tell you when something's not right. So I wrote a blog post yesterday about, awesome. I wrote a blog post yesterday about when I went to a party on the weekend and I felt, oh, hi Tammy, thanks. I'm stuck. Okay, can you give me an example of how to write this? Maybe, Delana, you can start writing your new spiritual bucket list from the opposite of what, I mean, if it was the duality piece, which I think you might have had, if it was the duality piece as to why you've had that experience. So say, for example, you want to experience lack, tick that off in your old spiritual bucket list, and then in your new one, put down abundance and then leave that open. April, fantastic. So just whatever the opposite, if the duality piece come up for you, or even the experience, so whatever you want to experience from now on, Delana, is what's in your new spiritual bucket list. Whatever you want, I mean, God, it's open. What do you want to experience from now on? Travel, I don't know, swimming in it's the randomest thing that came to mind. And if it's yours, it'll be hilarious. Swimming under a waterfall? Whose is that? Who sent me that message? Isaiah, that's fantastic. Who is it that wants to swim in a waterfall? Because you sent me that message telepathically. And that needs to be on your spiritual bucket list of your new one. So you can put experiences. You can put those there. If a lot of mine actually are experiences as a soul in a body, I want to experience that. So I've got running a marathon or swimming with the dolphins. I've got that on my new spiritual bucket list, because that is what, as a soul. So with your new spiritual bucket list, yeah, I've done that. So sorry, a list with new boxes. So, okay, so sorry, let me explain a little bit better. Your new spiritual bucket list is, what do I want to experience from now on as a soul in a body? Like, this is your contract with yourself. You had an old contract, you're ticking it off, and I'll go into the 5 steps for you to use from now on, to go through the Universal Mindset Technique for you to shift into that. But pretty much, you know, literally anything you want to experience from now on. So old experiences that you don't experience anymore, put in your old spiritual bucket list and tick it off and say, yes, I'm done with that. That is actually disconnecting that contract with yourself and saying, I'm done with that. And the new one is, what do I want to experience as a soul in a body, and wanting to have a human experience of that. Perfect. So I want to go into the 5 steps for you guys to write down the 5 steps so you can do this. But I think we might do this again because I've actually had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have too. I do love this process because I'd made the new bucket list, but I'd never thought of doing a list for the things I'm finished with. Yeah, got to be done with the things that you're finished with, otherwise I'll continue on. But I want you to be totally aware that the things that are happening in your life right now are always a response to what's going on within you. So by doing this, it'll be something within you that's causing this. So what I want you to do is I want you to use the Universal Mindset Technique from now on. And I might be doing this again because it's been really fun. And I do love this work. So literally step number 1, well, really before step number 1, give examples of my new bucket list. I did. Just things you want to experience. Thanks, Delana. I would actually sit with your, oh Mel, you're gorgeous. Vidya, I'd actually sit with it. I don't want you to force the new bucket list, and maybe we can talk about it when we catch up this week. So, and again, if you guys want to catch up with me this week and do this one-on-one, I do actually have like a little tester session if you haven't had hadn't had a session with me, I've got a little tester session that you can do on my website, which is kimarbrettjansen.com, and you'll see the thing about UMT, a little tester session. You can have a little half-an-hour tester session with me at I think it's $47 or $45. So if you want to do that with me and we can go through a couple of other things, that'd be good. But I want you to write down these universal mindset technique processes. So the first thing you'll know is when there's something to look at, you'll have an emotion. The emotion is the alarm bell to tell you that there's something that you need to know about yourself through the universal mindset technique. So the emotion will come up and then you'll go into, okay, so what is the problem? What am I wanting to work on? That's step number one. What is the issue? UMP is going to be an everyday problem. Oh my God, it's my life. So it's my life and I love learning so much about myself. Like, can you imagine just having this fun experience and adventure with yourself? It's just so cool. So step number one is, what is the issue? Write down what the issue is. It's come up. Step number two is, how do I feel about that? How does that thing make me feel? Step number three is, if I have that feeling about that thing, what does it mean about me? Step number three. Or if I just have that thing, what does it mean about me? And then that's that core belief that's running the programming. Step number four is, if I have that belief, where did that come from? My earliest memory is step number four. Thank you, whoever's making me burp. Step number four is, where did that come from? My earliest memory. You don't think about these answers, you receive them and allow them to come through. Usually those earliest memories, I've had people go into past lives. I've had people go into in utero, where a baby in utero can actually perceive what the issue is, like what's going on with their mothers and what they hear. And children especially do make perceptions, and we're living these perceptions every day. Thanks so much, Kim. I did a card reading this morning and through the cards, so let go. Oh my God, that's so beautiful, Shells. Thank you for sharing with me. That's such a great idea. I just love, and like if you guys, and this part of the universal mindset technique is, you've got to just follow the guidance. Shells, you've just done a perfect example of following the guidance. You just literally, whatever comes into your awareness, you do next, and you just follow it and you just do it. Okay, step number four is, what's my earliest experience of this? So then you go into step number five, because usually step number four is from a child's point of view. It's usually before you were 10 that you formed that belief from that experience. And then step number five is, what is the truth? And then you go into, me as an adult looking at that, what is the four pieces? And there's always four reasons why things happen. It's either like as a soul in a body, because, we're talking about contracts here. So step number one is the experience, so just to experience as a soul, as a body, in a body. Step number two is a learning. There's something to learn about yourself and something that you want to learn. Step number three is the duality. I needed to learn, experience that to then know the opposite of that and to really be appreciative and grateful of that. And then option number four, which is the purpose number four, is the mirror. Something will be showing you something about yourself. So look into each one of those things and seeing exactly why those things were chosen. And then you can go into your spiritual bucket list and tick it off your contract with yourself. It's really powerful work. If I can also share with you, a lot of you probably did feel a little bit dizzy, lightheaded, burping, yawning as this energy shifted. It does actually continue to shift over 3 days. So this is just from one thing that you might be working on. This will continually shift over 3 days. So I want you to keep your awareness open as to what's going on, but be kind to yourself. Drink lots of water. If you want to sleep, sleep. If you want to do anything, do anything. I mean, you should live that way anyway. But just allow this process to just take its course and clear this old energy as you tick off your old experiences and you're ready to welcome the new in. So thanks for joining me. If you've got any more comments or questions, pop them below. As I said, if you want to have a little tester session with me, you can pop onto my website and we can have some fun one-on-one on Zoom, and you can talk to me and we can share exactly what that brings up for you. And literally you can see how quickly, I've done it with, I don't know how many people, 14 people right now. Literally doing it one-on-one, we can literally shift heaps of stuff in just half an hour. It's really cool. So if you want to do that, pop onto there and I can see you one-on-one. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Again, any questions, pop them below. Thanks, Kristen. Thanks, Isaiah. Thanks, girls, for joining me. Thanks, Delana. Thanks, girls. So good to see you or see your messages. And you know, let's do this again. I think it was really fun, and I've loved playing with you this morning. So I'll pop in the group and let you know when we're going to do another one. So see you guys, and have fun with your universal mindset technique.